Hello, peace and blessings. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is Jasmine Atten, Mystic at the Crossroads. Today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to construct a mojo bag for good luck and prosperity. I have made reference to mojo bags in previous videos. I know I've shown a couple of them, but I have not done a step-by-step on how to make one from scratch, really. And this has been requested several times, so here we are today. I hope this information is helpful and kind of gives you a guide of how to put together your very own mojo bag. All of the ingredients that I have here, I will go over those with you. You don't have to stick to these particularly. This is just to kind of help as a reference. So feel free to swap out, change, substitute as needed for your intended desire. First and foremost, for those of you that are not sure what a mojo bag is, it is a good luck bag. It is a little bag or little pouch, traditionally made out of some type of fabric that is filled with ingredients that's aligned with whatever it is you are trying to either bring in, keep away and shield from, or to remove. Many different cultures and areas of magic have their own form of luck bag and ways that they make it. For sake of the video, I will be showing you what is primarily more traditional to hoodoo. Again, everything I'm using can be changed even down to the fabric that I'm using. We'll talk a little bit about that, but that's the style of bag that I am making today. With any magical workings, I always, before I get started on anything, I always have a candle going. Usually I use white. Sometimes I will use other colors, but traditionally I like to stick to white for cleansing and protection of my space and my environment. And I will have some roots or herbs or incense going. What I have in the cauldron here, I don't know if you guys, it's a little out of focus, but what I have burning here is a combination of different herbs, and I specifically chose these to be aligned with the type of mojo bag I am making. Inside of my cauldron, I have whole allspice, cinnamon, star anise, and then I just had some frankincense and some bay leaves that were left over that I burned yesterday. So I used a charcoal disc, and that is going, and that's going to just continue to burn as I am putting this together. That is not something that you have to do. This is just something that I like to do whenever I do anything, even down to dressing candles. I always like to cleanse my space from any energies that may have came through or picked up, or for anyone that maybe been in my environment. I just kind of want to make sure that it's only my energy contained here. But you do not have to do this. You can simply say a prayer for protection or envision a white light or a purple light around you. Some people do not feel that that's necessary, and if that's you, that's totally fine. It's really up to personal preference, but this is what I like to do. This is what I believe. Also, so that any spirits or energies that are passing through my space as I am working are not able to interfere or alter. This candle I have has been dressed with lemongrass, frankincense, and sea salt. This candle was handmade, and it was actually gifted to me from Earth and Herbal, earthandherbal.com. They have a beautiful cleansing ritual kit, and the candles are included. So if you're not sure what to dress your candle with, you can always just order a kit, and things can be sent to you that are already pre-made. Sometimes I know people, depending on where you live, you may not have access to certain things. Certain herbs may not be accessible and whatnot, so maybe ordering a kit might be just a little bit easier for you. All right, so the ingredients that I have here, right here on the plate, are 13 different ingredients that are going to go inside of the bag, and I'll tell you what those are in just a second. I have my piece of fabric. This mojo bag I am going to be making, see if you guys can see this, I'm going to be making from hand. So what I mean by that is I didn't buy a bag that I will be using, but this is a piece of fabric. This is flannel, and I've cut this. It's about a 3x4 square, and I'm going to be sewing the bag up and then adding the ingredients to it. Your bag can be as large or as small as you want it to be. If it's a little bit big, I'm just going to end up cutting it down and then closing it up. You do not have to use flannel. You can use any material that you prefer, but again, just trying to stick to what's traditional in hoodoo, I am using a flannel bag. This bag, it's hard to tell. It looks like it's black and white, but it's actually a really, really, really dark olive green, and it's a money print. And I just found this at my local Joann's craft store, but feel free to use whatever you like. You can even purchase a little flannel bag or a bag that's already sewn up and made with the drawstring, and you can do it that way. Whatever works best for you is perfectly fine. Also, for caring for my mojo bag, I have some oils here. I have this money drawing oil. And I know a lot of you are familiar with it. This money drawing oil is one that I made. I don't know if you guys can really see it too well. I also have a fast luck oil because this particular bag that I'm making is for drawing in good luck. See if I can get a little bit closer. I don't know if you guys can see the ingredients, but there's a dice in here, bay leaf, and a blend of essential oils and some star anise. And this one I actually just made over this full moon, and it smells delicious. And then this is some lodestone oil. This came from sensationalsense.com. The owner was very gracious and mailed me some of her oil. So this is the Lucky Lodestone oil, and I will be using these. But you are free to use a fast luck oil, road opener oil, money drawing oil. You can use a commanding oil, a gambler's oil, you know, whatever it is that you have on hand or something that you like to work with that you feel works, feel free to go ahead and use that. Okay, so on the plate here, I have 13 ingredients, and with a mojo bag, you will use a minimum of 3 items, a maximum of 13. The ingredients that go in your bag are usually always in an odd number, so 3, 5, 7, 9, 13. You do not exceed more than 13 ingredients, and you can swap out as you please. I have on here some currency. This is a $2 bill that I've had for a very, very long time, and a $5 bill that came from my previous mojo bag. So I've decided that I'm going to keep those both together, and I'm going to use them in the bag. Some people will count the items that go in the bag individually, so some people may count this as 2. I count this as 1 because it's both currency, and I also like the fact that it equaled $7. So I'm counting this as 1. I have a High John the Conqueror root. I really like working with John the Conqueror root. Sorry you guys in the shadows here, I'm trying to get this in focus so you can see it. John the Conqueror root is very good for success, for good luck, for money, and it's also a very lucky root for men to use, so because it resonates with that energy. So High John the Conqueror root. I have a green lodestone, and this has been, I've had this for a couple of years, so this has a lot of magnetic, or had a lot of magnetic sand on it, but a green lodestone. I have some clove, whole clove here to bring in good luck and good fortune. I have a $25 casino chip from Las Vegas that I picked that up. I have a whole nutmeg, a itsy bitsy little dice, a lucky horseshoe, a cowrie shell, excuse me. I got this at a local occult store. A piece of cinnamon stick, some magic green rice, and then this little bag of, little bottle, I love this, of gold flakes. Oh, and this one also, the star anise. I like this, it smells good. It smells like licorice. It's very pleasant. It's pleasant when you burn it, and it's for attracting good luck and prosperity. So these are the 13 items that are gonna go inside of my bag. Now, before I get started, you can grab your ingredients and throw them in the bag, and yeah, that's it. But there is a way that this should be done to ensure that it is charged with your intentions and with your energy. You can also add items of personal concern, so a photo of yourself, sigils, written request, some of your hair and nail clippings, saliva, pretty much anything pertaining to yourself, if the bag is for you or if it's for someone else. And any other magical items. So you can put some stones in here. You can put, sometimes people have little lucky charms like horseshoes and things of that nature. So you can add any of those items in there as you please, depending on what it is. If you're making a mojo bag, maybe for love, protection, for court cases, for attracting new friends, for repelling or removing, vibrations. One of the things that I really like to recommend, especially for people that work in environments that aren't very happy or positive and you deal with a lot of, negative energy or people or things like that, is to have a bag of protection with you. Cleansing and protection, and just kind of to absorb things so that you don't end up picking it up. But I'll have to do that in a second or separate video. Very easily to figure out herbs, you can simply Google magical herbs for etc. and you will get a list of herbs aligned with that desire. If you don't have any of these on hand and you want to swap them out, totally fine. Just see what you do have on hand. You can look those up and cross-reference to make your bag. Now, the first thing I always do before I start putting my bag together is I always pray over my items. And I will also take certain things and I will specifically charge them on my altar. If you don't have an altar set up, or you don't really charge or consecrate, that's fine. You can simply take your item, place it down into your hand, or place it into your dominant hand or your strong hand, which is my left hand. Left is also for receiving abundance in the left, and you send out love with the right. So I'll place it in my left hand, cover it like this, and I will either speak my words of intention, words of power, or visualize. If you don't want to say it out loud, you can visualize and say it in your head. But essentially, I'm blessing this item, and I am telling it what its purpose is in the bag, what it is that it's supposed to be doing. And I will do that one by one for each item. A lot of these items have come out of a previous mojo bag. They've been used and worked on, and they've been vibed up a lot. So I may not do a full-on ritual of putting each one on the altar because they are fully charged, but for the items that are new, or if you've never done that, then like I said, either put them on your altar or place them in your hand and put in your energy and tell them what they are for. With roots and herbs and essences, a lot of things you will find will be used for multiple purposes. So, for example, nutmeg, if you were to look up the magical properties, you're going to find about 10 different things that it can be used for. So it is important to tell this particular item that you are using what energy you want it to bring. What do you want to use this for, okay? If you had a root or an herb that can be used for love, money, and protection, and you just throw it in the bag, well, how does it know what it's supposed to be doing? So you want to make sure that you're drawing on that vibration when you're doing that. Each individual item carries a different energy, different property, and they will work on their own individual vibration collectively to attain whatever it is that you are looking to achieve. So once that is done, also I should mention, you should also cleanse your items. So for example, this casino chip has been handled by who knows how many people. I wouldn't just pray over it and throw it in the bag, but I would cleanse it first by running it through some incense smoke, maybe some sage. You want to smudge it with some sage, or Palo Santo is what I prefer. Sage is wonderful. I do use it for other things, but I don't really like the way that it smells. So Palo Santo, frankincense and myrrh, dragon's blood, copal, the list goes on and on. You can simply look up incenses for cleansing and then do it that way, and I would just kind of run it through the incense smoke. If you're working with stones and crystals and all those other things, those pick up vibrations from people as well that have previously handled them, so you always want to make sure you cleanse them before you place them down inside of your bag. Some people do like to cleanse with water. That's fine. You just want to make sure that the item that you're using will not be damaged. Some stones disintegrate in water. Some roots and herbs and things like that can mold and become unpleasant, so you want to make sure that you're not soaking items and then putting it in a bag where it's going to start rotting over time, because that wouldn't be good for what you're trying to do, especially for something like this. But moving right along, what I'm not going to show in this video is how I sew up the bag, but I will tell you, very simple, needle and thread. I will probably use green or red. Red can be for attraction also, and I'm going to sew up each side of the bag, place my items inside, and then I will sew it closed. If you don't know how to sew or don't have any ingredients to do so, then I would suggest getting yourself some fabric glue. You could potentially use hot glue, but I don't think that that's going to hold very well, and you don't want your bag ultimately falling apart. Also, again, just back to when you're sizing your bag, again, this is something you're going to be carrying with you. So if you're planning on just keeping it in your pocket, you may want to make it a little bit smaller, which may mean you have to use less ingredients or use ingredients that can be condensed. So you may not want to put something like this, or you may not want to put a whole John the Conqueror root that this size. You may want to get a smaller one and put it down in your bag. If you're keeping this in maybe your purse or your backpack, and that's where it's going to remain, then it may be okay to use something of this size if you choose to do so. When your bag is complete, oftentimes you will find bags that are drawstring, or people will take some string and tie it around, and they will kind of bring together their bag like this. I don't have any string to show you. They will bring together their bag like this, which is perfectly fine, and that allows for you to open the bag later and remove ingredients or add ingredients or things like that. Me personally, for this particular one, I do not plan on opening it and switching out any of the ingredients. Everything that's in there I'm happy with, so I'm going to close the bag completely. But if I thought maybe later I'd want to change it out, then I would keep it open. You can also handwrite a petition and put it down in your bag, and once that petition for that wish or desire has come true, then you can remove it and, you know, move on to the next thing and put something else new in there. So that's kind of, you know, why or why not you may want to close the bag or keep it open. All right, so I am going to sew my bag up, put everything in here, and then I'm gonna come back and show you guys how I activate the bag using some candles, and just show you how I continue to feed it and work with it. So hold on and I'll be right back. Okay, so here's the Mojo bag, nothing fancy, it's all sewn up, just stitched on the side with green thread. You can see all of the ingredients that I talked about are down inside of there. Now for sake of the video, I'm gonna leave it open, but normally I would sew it completely closed. You have the option, like I said earlier, to close it and seal it all the way, or you can just tie it if you think you want to add or remove any of the ingredients. It's placed here on my altar on top of, let me just pan out a little bit. I have some candles going for some clients, so I don't want to get those in the shot, but you guys can kind of see. So I have this placed here where I will then place my hand over it, say some prayers, charge it with my intentions. I will light my candle, so I'd have that going, and then I would anoint it with some oil, which is simply putting your either fast luck oil, money oil, lodestone oil, road opener, band, whatever it is that you use, in your hands, and just kind of anointing it on the bag. Some people do front and back. Some people go around the side, or just rub your hands together and just place it on here like so. Okay, so that is pretty much it. Very simple, very easy, very effective. You should give this a try and see how it works for you. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have a recipe, or you've done this or done another type of Mojo bag, I'd love to hear about it. Thank you so much for watching Mystic at the Crossroads here. You guys can find me on my website at oneritualaway.com, or on my Facebook under Jasmine Atten. Thank you. Bright blessings.